Lisa Morgan walked home from work on a quiet Tuesday evening. The streets were nearly empty, and the streetlights cast long shadows on the sidewalk. She was tired after a long day at the research lab where she worked as a biologist specializing in genetic disorders. Her phone buzzed with a message from her friend Kate asking if she wanted to meet for coffee tomorrow. Lisa smiled and typed a quick reply as she turned the corner onto her street. Lisa noticed a strange shimmer in the air ahead of her. At first she thought it was heat rising from the pavement, but it was a cool autumn evening. She slowed her pace, squinting at the odd distortion. It seemed to move slightly, pulsing with a faint bluish glow. Lisa considered turning around, but curiosity got the better of her. She took a few cautious steps forward, reaching her hand out towards the strange phenomenon. The air felt electric, making the hair on her arms stand up. Suddenly, the shimmer expanded, enveloping her in a cocoon of blue. Lisa tried to scream, but no sound came out. She felt weightless, her feet lifting off the ground. The world around her blurred and faded into darkness. When Lisa opened her eyes, she found herself in a strange room with glowing purple walls. She lay on a soft surface that conformed to her body like memory foam, but was somehow alive, responding to her movements. She tried to sit up but felt dizzy and disoriented. The air smelled like cinnamon and mint, an odd combination that was pleasant, but definitely not from Earth. Lisa noticed her clothes had been changed. She now wore a silver jumpsuit that felt softer than silk against her skin. Where am I? She wondered, trying to remember what happened. The last thing she recalled was the strange blue light on her street. Everything after that was blank. A door slid open without making a sound. A tall female figure walked in. Her skin was pale blue with small glimmering scales that caught the light. Her eyes were large and completely black. Without pupils, she had long white hair that seemed to float slightly as if underwater. Lisa gasped, backing away until she hit the wall behind her. The creature raised its hands in what appeared to be a calming gesture. "Hello, human," the alien said, her voice melodic and strangely soothing. "My name is Nari. We have been watching your planet for many years." Lisa felt her heart pounding in her chest. "Am I dreaming?" she asked herself, pinching her arm. The pain felt real. "This is not a dream," Nari said, as if reading her thoughts. "You are aboard our vessel currently orbiting your moon." Lisa tried to stand but felt dizzy. Nari moved quickly across the room and caught her. The alien woman was surprisingly strong, her skin cool to the touch. "We mean no harm," Nari said, helping Lisa back to the bed. "We have chosen you as our ambassador." "Why me?" Lisa asked, looking around the room for any possible escape. There were no obvious doors besides the one Nari had entered through. No windows either, just smooth purple walls that pulsed with soft light. "You have qualities we value," Nari replied. "Intelligence, compassion, adaptability. We have been monitoring your work at the research facility. Your studies on genetic disorders are particularly interesting to us." Lisa felt a chill run down her spine. "How long have you been watching me?" "For several of your Earth years," Nari admitted. "We are very thorough in our selection process." Outside the room, Lisa could hear soft humming sounds and occasional musical tones that must be the aliens communicating with each other. She tried to steady her breathing to think clearly. "Why have you brought me here?" she asked. "We need your help," Nari said, sitting beside Lisa. "Our species is dying out. A genetic disorder only affects the females of our kind. We have studied humans for generations and believe your DNA might hold the key to our survival." Lisa thought about all the alien invasion movies she had seen as a kid. None of them prepared her for this situation. Aliens who needed human help rather than wanting to conquer or destroy. "How long have I been here?" Lisa asked. 3 of your Earth days," Nari replied. "Soon we will reach our home planet, Lixara. You will meet our council." Lisa felt panic rising again. 3 days. Her friends, her family. They must be looking for her. They must think she was missing or worse. "Do not worry," Nari said. "We have taken care of that. A substitute has taken your place temporarily. Your absence will not cause alarm." "That is not comforting," Lisa said, feeling anger replace her fear. "You have no right to abduct me to replace me." Nari tilted her head, a gesture that seemed very human. We apologize. Our customs are different. We did not mean to distress you. The substitute will be removed once you return. We believed this was more merciful than allowing your loved ones to worry. Lisa noticed something odd about the room. There were pictures of Earth landscapes on the walls, a bookshelf with human novels, and even a small potted plant that looked like a fern from her apartment. We tried to make you comfortable. Nari explained. We studied your home. That is creepy, Lisa said, but was secretly impressed by their attention to detail. May I leave this room? She asked. Of course. Nari replied. We are not keeping you prisoner. You are our guest. You may explore certain areas of the ship. Would you like a tour? Lisa nodded, thinking it would be good to learn more about her surroundings. Maybe she could find a way to communicate with Earth or even find an escape pod, though she had no idea how she would pilot such a thing. Nari led her through the doorway into a corridor with the same purple glowing walls. Other aliens moved through the hallway, most similar to Nari, though some had different colored skin ranging from deep blue to almost white. All were female, or at least appeared so to Lisa. They stared at Lisa with obvious curiosity. Some made musical sounds to each other as she passed. Lisa felt like an exhibit in a zoo. The ship was massive. Nari explained that it housed over 10,000 Lixerans, most of them female scientists and explorers. They walked through gardens with strange plants, labs filled with equipment Lisa could not identify, and communal areas where Lixerans gathered to eat and socialize. We have been traveling the stars for thousands of years, Nari said. Our civilization is much older than yours. We were exploring space when your ancestors were still living in caves. Why have you kept yourselves hidden from us? Lisa asked. Your species is young and sometimes violent. Nari replied. We wanted to wait until you were ready. The council debates this issue constantly. Some believe we should reveal ourselves. Others think humanity needs more time to mature. They arrived at a large window, and Lisa gasped at the view. Outside was the blackness of space, filled with more stars than she had ever seen. And there, hanging in the distance, was Earth, a beautiful blue marble wrapped in swirls of white clouds. Lisa felt tears form in her eyes at the sight of her home so far away. Beautiful, isn't it? Nari said, standing beside her. We have visited many worlds, but few are as lovely as yours. Lisa wiped her eyes. Yes, it is, she agreed. Do you promise I will be able to return? Nari placed a cool hand on Lisa's shoulder. Yes, once we reach Lixara and complete our research, but I hope you will consider staying longer. There is much we can learn from each other. Lisa wasn't sure how to respond to that. Part of her was terrified, but another part was excited by the opportunity to learn about an alien civilization, to be the first human to visit another world. They continued the tour, visiting the ship's medical facilities, where Nari explained more about the genetic disorder affecting their species. It began 3 generations ago. She said, only the females are affected. Our birth rates have declined by 70%. If we do not find a solution, our species will be extinct within 5 centuries. That seems like a long time, Lisa observed. For beings that can live for 300 of your years, it is not. Nari replied. Many of us will see the end of our kind if we do not solve this problem. Lisa thought about her work at the lab. The Lixeran genetic problem might be similar to some human disorders she had studied. I want to see your research, she said. Maybe I can help. Nari smiled, a gesture she had clearly learned to mimic from studying humans. I hoped you would say that. As they walked back to Lisa's quarters, she realized that despite her fear and anger at being abducted, this might be the most important work she would ever do, and perhaps the first step toward a new relationship between humans and aliens. Tomorrow we reach Lixara, Nari said. Then your real work begins. Lisa slept fitfully that night, dreaming of Earth and strange blue aliens. She woke to a soft chiming sound and found Nari standing beside her bed. Today we arrive at Lixara, Nari said, her black eyes shimmering with excitement. The council is eager to meet you. Lisa sat up, rubbing sleep from her eyes. How should I prepare? She asked. Just be yourself, Nari replied. That is why we chose you. Your natural curiosity and intelligence will serve you well. After washing in a strange shower that used sound, waves instead of water, and eating a breakfast of fruit that tasted like honey and cinnamon. Lisa followed Nari to the observation deck. The room was filled with Lixarans, all watching a large screen that showed their approach to the planet Lixara. Was beautiful. A swirling mix of blue and green with wispy white clouds covering parts of its surface. It had 3 small moons orbiting it, creating a celestial dance that was mesmerizing to watch our home. Nari said with pride, "We have lived here for over 50,000 years." The ship descended through the atmosphere. Lisa felt nothing, no turbulence or pressure changes. The Lixaran technology was far beyond anything humans had developed. Below them, a city spread out, an organic-looking collection of structures that seemed to grow from the landscape rather than being built upon it. Buildings spiraled upward in graceful curves. Connected by arching bridges, the entire city glowed with soft light in various colors. The ship landed silently in a large open area at the center of the city. A crowd had gathered to witness their arrival. "They will be curious about you," Nari warned. "You are the first human to visit our world." Lisa felt a mix of fear and excitement as the doors opened and a ramp extended to the ground. Below, the crowd of Lixarans waited, most with expressions of wonder on their alien faces. Nari led Lisa down the ramp. A group of taller Lixarans approached, dressed in flowing robes of silver and blue. They moved with grace, their long white hair floating around their heads. The Council of Elders, Nari explained in a whisper. One of the elders stepped forward. She was taller than the others, her blue skin darker, and covered with more elaborate scale patterns that caught the light and sparkled like diamonds. Her eyes, though still solid black, seemed deeper somehow, ancient and wise. "Welcome, human." The elder said, her voice musical and soothing. "I am Era, leader of the council." "We are honored by your presence," Lisa bowed. Slightly unsure of the proper protocol, "I am honored to be here," she replied. "You must be tired from your journey." Era continued. "We have prepared a place for you to rest tonight. There will be a gathering to celebrate your arrival. Tomorrow we will begin our work." Lisa was led to a beautiful dwelling near the center of the city. It was a single structure that spiraled upward like a shell, with open terraces and gardens at various levels. The interior was designed to accommodate human needs, with furniture similar to Earth designs but with the organic flowing aesthetic of Lixaran architecture. The dwelling had several Lixaran attendants who seemed eager to make Lisa comfortable. One named Sora showed her how to use the various devices in the home, including a communication system and food preparation unit. Sora would be her guide during her stay, explaining Lixaran customs and helping her navigate their society. "Is there anything you require?" Sora asked, her head tilted in that peculiar Lixaran gesture information. Lisa replied, "I want to learn about your people, your history, your science." "Everything," Sora smiled. "We have prepared learning materials for you." She gestured to a device that looked like a thin tablet. "It contains our history, science, culture, all translated into your language." Lisa spent the afternoon absorbing information about the Lixarans. She learned that their society was led entirely by females. The males of their species were smaller, less intelligent, and kept mainly for reproduction and domestic duties, a concept that fascinated her as it was so different from human society. She learned about their long history, how they had evolved from aquatic creatures millions of years ago, their advanced technology, their art and music, their philosophy which valued harmony, balance, and the pursuit of knowledge. As evening approached, Sora returned to escort Lisa to the celebration. The gathering was held in a large open plaza at the center of the city. Thousands of our Lixarans had assembled, creating a sea of blue faces and floating white hair. Lisa was led to a raised platform where Ira and the other council members waited. The crowd fell silent as Lisa approached. Ira raised her hands and spoke in the musical Lixaran language. Then she switched to English. "Today marks a historic moment in the long history of our people," she announced. "For the first time, a human stands among us, not as a subject of study, but as a friend and ally." The crowd made a sound like singing all at once, a harmony that sent chills down Lisa's spine. "Human, the council has observed your kind for generations," Era continued. We have watched your struggles, your triumphs, your evolution as a species. Now we face a challenge that threatens our very existence. We believe that together our peoples can find a solution. Lisa felt the weight of expectation from thousands of alien eyes. She swallowed nervously, but stepped forward. I am honored by your welcome, she said, her voice carried by some unseen technology to the entire gathering. I cannot make promises about finding a cure for your genetic disorder, but I will do everything in my power to help. I believe that our differences may be our strength. What one species cannot solve, alone perhaps two can solve together. The crowd sang again, this time louder and more joyful. Era smiled and gestured for Lisa to join the council members in a ceremonial meal. The celebration continued late into the night. Lisa was introduced to Lixaran, food, music, and dance. She met dozens of important Lixaran scientists, government leaders, artists, all curious about the human visitor. One scientist named Vela particularly interested Lisa. She was younger than many of the others. Her skin a paler, blue, her manner more direct, less ceremonial. I have studied your species extensively, Vela said as they shared a drink of sweet luminescent liquid. I find humans fascinating. Your adaptability, your creativity, your emotional complexity, and I find your technology amazing, Lisa replied. These buildings, your ships, your medical science, it's far beyond what humans have achieved. Vela leaned closer. Not in all ways, she said quietly. Your genetic diversity is remarkable. The way your species has evolved, to resist disease, to adapt to different environments. That is what we hope to learn from you the next morning. Lisa was taken to the research facility, a sprawling complex on the outskirts of the city. Vela met her at the entrance. Today we begin our work, she said, leading Lisa through security scanners and into the heart of the facility. The genetic labs were impressive, filled with equipment Lisa could only partly understand. Holographic displays showed DNA sequences spinning in 3 dimensions. Lixaran scientists worked at various stations, some glancing up with curiosity as Lisa passed in. A private laboratory, Vela showed Lisa, the research they had compiled on the genetic disorder. It began 50 Earth years ago. She explained, a mutation in our reproductive genes. Something is preventing proper cellular division during embryo development. Most female fetuses die before birth. Those that survive often have health problems. The males are unaffected, but without females our species cannot continue. Lisa studied the genetic sequences displayed before her. The Lixaran DNA was different from human DNA, but followed similar principles. She could see the problem areas where mutations had occurred. What have you tried so far? She asked. Vela gestured and new displays appeared. We attempted gene therapy, viral vectors, even artificial wombs. Nothing has worked. The mutation adapts, resisting our treatments. Lisa thought about her own research on Earth. Perhaps we need to think differently. She suggested not try to fix the mutation but work around it. Create a new pathway for reproduction. Vela's eyes widened. That is why we needed you. A fresh perspective. For days, Lisa worked alongside the Lixaran scientists, learning their technology and sharing her knowledge of human genetics. They made progress developing new approaches to the problem. Lisa was impressed by the Lixaran scientific method, efficient and thorough, yet sometimes lacking the creative leaps that human scientists often made. In the evenings, Lisa explored the city with Sora, learning more about Lixaran culture. She was given access to their historical archives, their art galleries, their musical performances. The beauty and sophistication of their civilization amazed her one evening as Lisa stood on a terrace watching the 3 moons rise. Nari joined her. You seem pensive. Nari observed. I was thinking about Earth. Lisa replied, my home, my friends. They don't know where I am, what I've seen. Do you regret coming here? Lisa considered the question. No, but I miss my world, and I worry about what will happen when I return. Who will believe me? Nari placed a cool hand on Lisa's shoulder. That is a concern for another day. For now, your presence here is making a difference. Our scientists report more progress in the past week than in the previous decade. Lisa smiled. That is good news. There is more. Nari said. The Council has been discussing the possibility of official contact with Earth, a delegation perhaps, a sharing of knowledge and technology. Lisa's eyes widened. That would change everything. Human history, civilization, science, religion. Everything would be different. Yes. Nari agreed. The Council does not make this decision lightly. It would be the end of our policy, of non-interference, a policy we have maintained for thousands of years. Why now? Lisa asked. The alarms continued to blare as Nari led Lisa through the corridors of the building. Other Lixerans rushed past, some carrying equipment, others helping the elderly and children. Who is attacking? Lisa asked, struggling to keep up with Nari's rapid pace. The Vora, Nari replied, her voice grim. They are predators. They hunt sentient species like us. Lisa asked in horror. Yes, Nari confirmed. For resources, for territory. Sometimes simply for sport. They have been our enemies for millennia. They reached a transport platform, a circular disc that hovered slightly above the ground. Nari pulled Lisa onto it and pressed a sequence on a control panel. The platform began to move rapidly through a tunnel system beneath the city. We need to reach the defense center, Nari explained. The Council will gather there through small windows in the tunnel. Lisa caught glimpses of the city above Lixerans, moving with purpose. No panic, despite the alarms. Their discipline was impressive. The transport stopped at a massive structure built into the side of a mountain. The doors slid open, revealing a bustling command center. Hundreds of Lixerans worked at control stations, monitoring displays that showed the space around their planet. On the main screen, Lisa could see ships approaching Lixara. They were unlike the elegant Lixaran vessels. These were dark, angular, predatory-looking craft that reminded Lisa of deep-sea creatures from Earth. Ira stood in the center of the room, issuing commands in the musical Lixaran language. She turned as Nari and Lisa approached. The human should not be here. Ira said, her voice stern. She may have insights we lack. Nari argued. Humans approach problems differently. Ira considered this, then nodded. Very well. But keep her safe, Lisa. Looked at the displays, trying to understand the tactical situation. How many ships? She asked. 27 Vora cruisers. Nari replied, each carrying approximately 500 warriors. They will attempt to breach our shields. Then land-ground forces can. You stop them. We have defensive capabilities, Nari said. But the Vora are aggressive, adaptive. We cannot match their offensive power. On the screens, Lisa watched as the Lixaran defense grid activated. A shimmering barrier surrounded the planet. The Vora ships fired energy weapons that struck the shield, creating ripples of light. How long will the shields hold? Lisa asked. Hours, perhaps less. Era said, joining them. The Vora have new weapons we have not encountered before. Why are they attacking now? Lisa wondered. They may have detected your arrival, Era said. The Vora monitor our communications. They know we seek a cure for our genetic disorder. They would prefer we die out. It would mean one less competitor in the galaxy. A younger council member approached. Urgency in her movements, Era. They have breached the outer defense grid, she reported. Several ships have landed in the northern continent. Evacuate the settlements, Era ordered. And send defense units. Lisa watched the coordinated response as the Lixerans mobilized their forces. They were clearly prepared for this scenario. But something bothered her about their approach. Your defenses are all passive, she observed. You have shields, barriers, evacuation protocols. But what about offensive capabilities? The Lixerans exchanged glances. We are not warriors, Era explained. Our philosophy prohibits aggressive warfare. We defend, protect, preserve. But we do not attack. Lisa thought about human history, so filled with warfare. Certainly not something to be proud. But it had led to tactical thinking that might be useful now. May I make a suggestion? She asked. Ira nodded. The Vora expect you to react the same way you always have. Lisa said, they know your patterns, your protocols. What if you did something unexpected, something they aren't prepared for? What do you suggest? Nari asked. Lisa pointed to the displays. Show me the Vora ships again, especially their communication systems. A technician brought up detailed scans of the Vora vessels. Lisa studied them carefully. Do they communicate using similar frequencies to your ships, she asked. Yes, Era replied, looking curious. Lisa explained her idea. A simple human trick, jamming signals with random noise, the kind of thing hackers on Earth did all the time. Create confusion in their fleet. Make it impossible for them to coordinate. The Lixerans looked at each other, uncertainty in their expressions. It is not a direct attack, Nari said. It might work within our ethical boundaries. Ira considered, then nodded to the technicians. Implement the human suggestion. The Lixeran scientists quickly modified their communication systems to broadcast random patterns across all frequencies, targeting the specific bands the Vora used to coordinate their fleet. On the screens Lisa watched as the effect rippled through the Vora ships. Some slowed, others changed course. 2 vessels even collided, their captains clearly receiving conflicting orders. It is working, Era said with amazement. The Lixeran defense forces took advantage of the confusion, launching fast scout ships to harass the disorganized Vora fleet, not attacking directly but leading them away from populated areas. Lisa felt a surge of pride that her simple idea had made a difference, but she knew it was only a temporary solution. The jamming will only work until they adapt, she warned. We need something more permanent. Vela, who had been monitoring the situation from another station, approached. I may have an idea, she said, but it requires access to our biological research. Labsera hesitated. The labs contain our most sensitive research. It may be our best option, Nari argued. Ira finally nodded. Take the human with you, she ordered. But be careful. Vela led Lisa and Nari to another transport, this one moving even faster than before they arrived at the research facility, which was now mostly evacuated. A few scientists remained working frantically to secure sensitive materials. Vela took them to a secure laboratory deep within the complex. This is where we store biological samples from all known species, she explained, including the Vora. Lisa understood immediately. You want to create a biological weapon, not a weapon. Vela corrected, a deterrent. Something that will make them ill, but not kill them. Just enough to force them to retreat. Can you do that? Lisa asked. With your help, yes, Vela replied. The Vora physiology is different from ours and yours, but all carbon-based life forms share certain vulnerabilities. They worked quickly, Vela providing knowledge of Vora biology. Lisa contributing insights from human medical research, Nari coordinating with the Defense Center. The result was a synthetic compound that would cause extreme discomfort to the Vora, temporary respiratory distress and skin irritation. Not lethal, but debilitating. The challenge was delivery. How to disperse the compound among the Vora forces. Lisa thought about it, looking at the displays showing the positions of Vora ships and ground forces. They had landed troops in several locations, mostly unpopulated areas. What about your water systems, she suggested. The Vora need water, like all carbon-based life. They will tap into your reservoirs. Vela looked impressed. That could work, she said. We can introduce the compound into specific reservoirs. Only those in the invasion zones. They quickly synthesized enough of the compound, and transportation was arranged to the water treatment facilities near the Vora landing sites. While this was happening, Lisa, Nari, and Vela returned to the Defense Center to monitor the situation. The jamming strategy was still working, but the Vora were beginning to adapt, finding ways to communicate. Despite the interference, more ships had landed and ground forces were advancing toward the nearest Lixeran cities. The council debated evacuation of the capital, Lisa's temporary home. Then reports began coming in from the northern territories. The Vora forces were falling back. Soldiers were returning to their ships, many showing signs of respiratory distress. It worked, Nari said, relief evident in her voice. The Vora fleet began to retreat, ships breaking orbit and moving away from Lixara. The danger was not entirely past, but the immediate threat had been averted. Lisa found herself surrounded by grateful Lixarans. Era approached her, expression solemn. You have saved many lives today, she said. Your species approaches problems differently than ours. Today, that difference was our salvation. Lisa felt both pride and discomfort. The tactics she had suggested were considered basic, even primitive on Earth, yet they had been revolutionary to the Lixorans. I just applied some human thinking to the problem. She said, "It's nothing special." But it is, Nari insisted. Your species evolved differently. Your history of conflict gave you insights we lack. Our peaceful evolution left us vulnerable in some ways. In the days that followed, Lisa worked with the Lixaran Defense Council, helping them develop new strategies for protecting their world. She felt strange teaching these advanced beings about concepts like misdirection feints and tactical retreats, ideas that came from humanity's long bloody history. Meanwhile, the genetic research continued with renewed urgency. The Vora attack had emphasized the importance of ensuring the Lixaran species survived one evening as Lisa worked late in the lab. Vela approached with excitement in her movements. "We have had a breakthrough," she announced. "We combined your suggestion about alternative pathways with our genetic technology." The preliminary tests show promise. Lisa looked at the data Vela presented. It showed successful embryo development using the new techniques they had developed together. "This could work," she agreed. "But you'll need to continue testing. It will take time. We now have thanks to you." Vela said, "The council wishes to speak with you tomorrow. They have made a decision regarding Earth." Lisa felt a flutter of anticipation. The possibility of open contact between humans and Lixorans was both thrilling and terrifying. What would it mean for humanity? How would people react? What changes would it bring? Preparations for the journey to Earth moved quickly. The Lixorans selected a diplomatic team led by Era herself with scientists, including Vela cultural experts and security personnel. A small ship was prepared, one designed to appear less intimidating than their usual vessels. Lisa spent hours briefing the delegation on human customs politics and potential reactions to their arrival. She worried about how governments would respond to alien visitors. Would they be welcomed or met with fear and hostility? "I recommend we make first contact with a scientific organization," Lisa suggested to Era, "not a government. They might be more open to peaceful exchange." Era considered this. "We have observed, your governments are often divided, competitive, sometimes hostile to outsiders. Your suggestion has merit." "Who would you recommend?" Lisa thought about it. "The International Space Agency in Geneva." She decided they coordinate space research across multiple countries. Their scientists would understand the significance without immediate political complications. As the preparations continued, Lisa still pondered the council's offer to become a permanent ambassador. The opportunity was extraordinary, but it meant leaving behind everything she knew. One evening, as she watched Lixara's 3 moons rise, Vela joined her on the terrace. "Have you decided?" she asked, "about the ambassador position?" "Not yet," Lisa replied. "How can I choose between 2 worlds?" Vela smiled, a gesture she had learned from Lisa. "You would not be choosing between them. You would be connecting them." Building a bridge. Lisa appreciated the perspective. "Still, it would mean a very different life than the one I imagined for myself. Perhaps a better one," Vela suggested. "One with purpose, meaning, and discovery." Lisa couldn't argue with that. The work they had done together on the genetic disorder was the most meaningful of her career. Their breakthrough might save an entire species from extinction. What could be more important than that? The night before their departure, a celebration was held in the central plaza of the city. Thousands of Lixorans gathered to honor the delegation and to see the human who had helped save them from the Vora attack. Lisa was asked to address the crowd, a request that made her nervous but also proud people of Lixara. She began, "I came to your world as a stranger, taken from my home without warning or choice. I was afraid, confused, unsure of what would happen to me. But you welcomed me, showed me wonders beyond my imagination, shared your knowledge and your culture. You trusted me with your greatest challenge, the survival of your species." Lisa paused, looking out at the sea of blue faces, all watching her with their black eyes. "Tomorrow we journey to my world," she continued. "I cannot promise how my people will receive you. Humans can be fearful of differences, resistant to change. But we are also curious, adaptable, and capable of great compassion. I believe that once they know you as I have come to know you, they will welcome you as friends. I will do everything in my power to ensure our peoples meet in peace and mutual respect." The crowd responded with their musical harmony, voices rising in unison, creating a sound that still gave Lisa chills even after weeks on their world. After the celebration, Lisa returned to her dwelling to pack the few possessions she had acquired during her stay. Nari visited, bringing a gift, a small crystal that glowed with soft blue light. "It is a memory stone," Nari explained. "It records experiences, emotions. It will help you remember your time here no matter what happens." Lisa was touched by the gesture. "Thank you," she said, holding the crystal carefully. "It means a lot to me." "Have you decided about the ambassador position?" Nari asked. Lisa nodded. "Yes," she replied. "I will accept. The opportunity is too important to refuse. I can do more good as a bridge between our worlds than I ever could as just one scientist." On Earth, Nari smiled. "I am pleased," she said. "You have become a friend, Lisa Morgan. I look forward to working with you to build this new relationship between our peoples." The next morning, the delegation boarded the diplomatic vessel. Lisa was given quarters near the command center so she could advise Era and the others as they approached Earth S. The ship lifted off. Lisa watched Lixara recede beneath them, the beautiful blue-green planet growing smaller until it was just another point of light among the stars. The journey to Earth would take 3 days using the Lixaran faster-than-light technology. A remarkably short time for such a vast distance. Lisa spent the time helping the delegation prepare, practicing human greetings, customs, and conversation. Vela was particularly interested in human scientific protocols. How would Earth scientists want to exchange information? What verification procedures would they use? What ethical guidelines would they follow? Era focused more on diplomatic concerns, how to establish formal relations, who had authority to speak for Earth, how to navigate the complex international politics that the Lixarans had observed from afar as they neared the solar system. Lisa felt a growing excitement mixed with anxiety. They would emerge near Jupiter using its magnetic field to mask their approach, then proceed to Earth orbit at a distance that would not appear threatening. Lisa had composed a message to be broadcast on international frequencies once they arrived. A simple greeting, explaining who they were and why they had come, requesting communication with the International Space Agency in Geneva. The plan was carefully constructed to minimize fear and confusion. But Lisa knew that the appearance of an alien ship would cause panic, no matter how carefully they proceeded. There was no way to prepare humanity for such a profound revelation as they entered the solar system, passing the outer planets. Lisa felt a strange sensation. She was returning home, but she was no longer just a human scientist. She was now part of something larger, a bridge between worlds, a representative of both humanity and Lixara. The ship slowed as they reached Jupiter, the massive gas giant filling the viewing screens with its swirling storms and vibrant colors. Lisa had never seen it up close. The view was breathtaking. They paused in Jupiter's shadow, running final systems checks and preparing for the approach to Earth. Lisa stood with Era and Nari in the command center, watching as the final preparations were made. "Once we reveal ourselves, there is no returning to secrecy," Era said. "Everything will change for both our peoples. Are you certain this is the right course?" Lisa thought about all she had learned about the Lixarans, their peaceful civilization, their advanced technology, their wisdom accumulated over thousands of years. What they could teach humanity, what humanity could offer in return. The possibilities were endless. "Yes," she said. "This is the right time. Both our species need this connection. Your people need a solution to your genetic disorder. My people need to know they're not alone in the universe, to gain a broader perspective." Nari placed a hand on Lisa's shoulder. "I believe you are right," she said. "The isolation of both our peoples has gone on long enough." The ship resumed its journey, moving through the solar system, passing Mars and finally approaching Earth. Lisa felt her heart race as the blue planet came into view, her home. Yet somehow it looked different now, smaller, more fragile. The ship established orbit at a distance of 50,000 kilometers, far enough to appear non-threatening, close enough to establish clear communications. "The moment has come," Era said, turning to Lisa. "Are you ready?" Lisa took a deep breath and nodded. The message she had prepared was loaded into the communication system, ready to be broadcast on all major international frequencies. With a simple gesture from Era, the transmission began. "People of Earth, this is Lisa Morgan, speaking from aboard a Lixaran diplomatic vessel currently in Earth orbit." She paused, imagining the shock and confusion her words would cause across the planet. "I know this transmission will be hard to believe, but I assure you, it is real. I was brought to the Lixaran homeworld 3 weeks ago to help with a scientific problem. During my time there, I have learned that the Lixaran people are peaceful, advanced, and wish to establish friendly contact with humanity. They have much to share with us: knowledge, technology, and friendship. We request communication with the International Space Agency in Geneva to arrange a formal meeting. All our intentions are peaceful. This is a historic moment for both our worlds. The day humanity learns we are not alone." The message would be repeated in multiple languages, translated by the Lixaran systems. They would wait for a response, monitoring Earth communications for reactions. Lisa knew what would follow: disbelief, accusations of hoax, panic in some quarters, excitement in others. Military forces would be placed on alert. Governments would convene emergency meetings. Scientists would attempt to verify their presence. It would be chaos at first, but eventually reason would prevail. Curiosity would overcome fear, and communication would be established. As she waited, Lisa thought about her decision to become the ambassador between worlds. The responsibility was enormous, but so was the opportunity. She would help guide this first contact, ensure that both species benefited from the relationship. The ship detected increased activity from Earth: military satellites changing position, space telescopes turning toward them, radar sweeps attempting to confirm their presence. "They are aware of us," Nari observed. "Yes," Lisa agreed. Now we wait. Hours passed as they monitored Earth communications. The reaction was exactly as Lisa had predicted: initial disbelief followed by confirmation, as multiple sources verified the presence of an unknown vessel in orbit. Panic in some regions, calm analysis in others. Finally, a transmission arrived from Geneva. 3 days passed as Earth prepared its delegation. The Lixaran vessel maintained its orbit at a respectful distance, making no movements that might be interpreted as threatening. Lisa helped the Lixarans understand the media reports flowing from Earth. The reactions ranged from religious fervor to scientific excitement, from military paranoia to political opportunism. Every nation wanted representation in the first meeting with aliens. Every scientist wanted access to their knowledge. Every corporation wondered about the technological and economic implications. Every religious leader sought to understand what this meant for their beliefs. The International Space Agency, in coordination with the United Nations, managed to establish a Protocol. 5 representatives were selected: Dr. Samantha Porter from the ISA, Dr. Alan Chen, a geneticist; Ambassador Maria Alvarez, a veteran diplomat; General William Barnes, a military liaison; and Dr. Kwame Osei, an anthropologist. Lisa watched the shuttle approach, carrying the Earth delegation. Her heart raced with anticipation. This was the moment when her two worlds would meet, the beginning of a new era for both species. The shuttle docked with the Lixaran vessel using an adapter the aliens had created based on Earth specifications. Lisa, Aranari, and several other Lixarans waited in the reception area. A special atmosphere had been created, matching Earth's composition and pressure. As the airlock opened, Lisa stepped forward to greet her fellow humans. "Welcome aboard," she said to Director Porter, who led the group. The director embraced her briefly. "Ms. Morgan," she said, "it's good to see you well. The past week has been quite extraordinary." The Earth delegates stared with undisguised wonder at the Lixarans. Their blue skin, floating white hair, and black eyes were unlike anything humans had encountered before. Ira stepped forward, moving with the fluid grace characteristic of her species. I am Era, leader of the Council of Elders, she said in perfect English. We welcome you to our vessel. We are honored by your trust in coming. Here Ambassador Alvarez responded with diplomatic poise. We bring greetings from the people of Earth. We come in a spirit of peace and cooperation. The formalities continued as introductions were made. Lisa observed the human delegates watching their reactions. Dr. Chen could barely contain his scientific curiosity. General Barnes maintained a professional reserve while studying everything with a tactical eye. Dr. Osi observed the cultural interactions with fascination. The Lixarans guided the humans to a conference room designed to accommodate both species. The walls displayed views of space with Earth visible below. The furniture had been modified for human comfort. As they settled into discussions, Lisa served as interpreter, not of language. The Lixarans' translation systems handled that perfectly, but of concepts, cultural references, and unspoken assumptions. She helped bridge the gap between two very different civilizations. Dr. Chen was particularly interested in the genetic disorder affecting the Lixarans and the research Lisa had been doing. You believe human genetic diversity might help solve their problem? He asked Lisa. Yes. She explained. Our species evolved with greater genetic variation due to our more challenging environmental conditions and our shorter reproductive cycles. The Lixarans have identified specific sequences in human DNA that might help them develop treatments. Dr. Porter raised concerns about sharing human genetic material with an alien species. What protections would be in place? What oversight? What ethical guidelines would govern the research? Ira assured the delegates that all scientific cooperation would be transparent, controlled, and mutual. We seek an exchange of knowledge, she explained, not exploitation. We have much to offer in return. General Barnes had security concerns. How many Lixaran ships existed? How long had they been observing Earth? What weapons capabilities did they possess? Nari answered with careful diplomacy. We have maintained a policy of non-interference, she said. We observe but do not intervene. Our technology is advanced, but our philosophy limits its use. We defend but do not attack. We have protected your world from discovery by less peaceful species. The mention of other potentially hostile aliens clearly concerned the general. This protection you would continue to provide. Idira nodded. It is in both our interests that Earth remains safe as it joins the larger community. Ambassador Alvarez asked about diplomatic relations. How would formal contact between worlds be structured? What protocols would govern interaction? The discussions continued for hours, both sides cautious but increasingly open. Lisa was proud of how well the humans were handling this extraordinary situation. They had moved beyond the initial shock to practical considerations. How would this new relationship work? What would it mean for humanity? As the first day of meetings concluded, the Earth delegation prepared to return to their shuttle. They would report to their governments, bringing recordings and data from the encounter. A second larger meeting was planned. Before they left, Dr. Porter took Lisa aside. You could return with us, she offered. Your family, your friends. They're worried about you. Lisa smiled. I appreciate that, but my place is here for now, she said. I can do the most good as an intermediary. Someone who understands both worlds. Dr. Porter studied her. You've changed, Lisa nodded. How could I not? This experience has transformed me. I've seen another world, another civilization. I've helped prevent conflict and may help save a species from extinction. My perspective has expanded beyond what I could have imagined. The director squeezed her arm gently. We'll need you in the days ahead. This is just the beginning. The world is in shock, trying to process what this means. I know, Lisa agreed. And I'll help however I can. After the Earth delegation departed, Lisa joined Era and the other Lixarans to review the meeting. They are cautious but open, Era observed. This is a good beginning. Lisa nodded. They handled it better than I expected. The shock, the adjustment to an entirely new reality. They moved quickly to practical matters. It will not be so simple with all humans. Nari cautioned. We have observed the divisions among your people. Some will welcome us. Others will fear us. Lisa couldn't disagree. That's true. She admitted. There will be resistance, conspiracy theories, even hostility. But the majority will come to accept this new reality, especially when they see the benefits of cooperation. In the days that followed, more meetings were held. Earth sent scientific teams, diplomatic envoys, cultural experts. The Lixorans shared selected technologies, particularly medical and environmental innovations, that would benefit humanity without disrupting its development too severely. Lisa found herself increasingly comfortable in her role as ambassador, moving between the two species, explaining human reactions to the Lixorans, helping humans understand Lixoran concepts. She had found her purpose. 1 month after first contact, a historic agreement was signed, the Treaty of Cooperation between Earth and Lixara. It established protocols for scientific exchange, cultural interaction, and mutual defense. The Lixarans would help humanity advance certain technologies, particularly those related to environmental restoration and medicine. Humans would assist with the genetic research needed to save the Lixoran species. Lisa was officially recognized as the first human ambassador to Lixara. She would divide her time between the two worlds, serving as the primary bridge between the species. She would train others for similar roles as the relationship expanded. The day the treaty was signed, a ceremony was held at the United Nations headquarters in New York. Lisa stood on the podium with ERA representatives from Earth governments watched by billions around the world. Lisa looked out at the assembly. "This is just the beginning," she said. "Our two worlds, separated by vast distances, have found each other, not through war or conquest, but through cooperation and mutual need. We are different in many ways, but alike in the most important ones. We seek knowledge, understanding, and peaceful coexistence. Together we face a universe filled with wonders and challenges. By joining our strengths, we become more than we could ever be alone." The ceremony concluded with the signing of the treaty, a document that would be remembered in the histories of both worlds as the beginning of a new era. Later, as Lisa prepared for her first official visit to Earth, as Ambassador Nari found her packing her few possessions. "Are you nervous?" Nari asked about returning home. Lisa considered the question. Home was a complicated concept. Now she had connections to two worlds, two peoples. She belonged to both, and neither fully. "It's strange," she admitted. "Everything will look the same but feel different. They'll see my world through new eyes now." Nari nodded. "I understand. When I first visited Earth in disguise, I felt the same way. Seeing my own people from an outside perspective changed me." Lisa looked up, surprised. "You were on Earth?" Nari smiled. "We have had observers living among humans for centuries. I spent 5 years in a place called Boston studying at your universities. I learned much about humans, their resilience, their creativity, their capacity for both cruelty and kindness." Lisa shook her head, still processing this revelation. "How many observers? Enough to maintain awareness of your development?" Nari replied. "Not enough to influence it." "We were very careful." Lisa finished her packing, thinking about the future that lay ahead. The work on the Lixoran genetic disorder was progressing well. Dr. Chen and his team, working directly with Vela, had developed promising treatments. Human genetic diversity combined with Lixoran technology was proving to be a powerful combination.